Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 116 of Screw the Commute podcast. We got Andy Sokol here today, and hey, if you want to keep your customers and keep them for years and years and years, this is the guy. You don't want to miss this episode. Now, last episode is 115. That was training on spam control. On Mondays, we do trainings, in-depth trainings on stuff, and on Wednesdays and Fridays, we do interviews with great entrepreneurs like Andy. And I know everyone's sick of spam coming into their email, and I gave you several ways to stop that, but you may not realize there's website spam coming in all the time, and you don't even know about it. So I told you how to get rid of that too, because that's going to hurt you. All right, and by the way, I just have to throw this in. If you got busy and did the stuff I teach you on internet marketing, and many of those emails had money in them, well, you probably wouldn't be whining so much about them coming in, right? All right, our new on-demand TV channel, the public speaking channel, is on Roku TV. Roku is where you could have a Roku television, or you could buy a box for like $40, and some people get rid of their cable bill with a $140 box that works through their Wi-Fi, and it's an on-demand TV. So, and you can put your own channels on there. So I have the public speaking channel, and we have the brutal self-defense channel coming, and the Protection Dogs Elite channel, and various marketing channels coming. So check us out there on Roku TV. Right now, for sure, the public speaking channel's up there. Now, our youth program is in full swing. We're looking for entrepreneurial young people. Young means up to about early 20s. You know, if they're older than that, they might be a candidate for our regular podcast. But we want to highlight entrepreneurial youth on the Screw the Commute podcast. So if you know anybody, you can have them get in touch with me at orders@antion.com, orders@antion.com, and it'll be in the show notes, of course. And I'll tell them how they could possibly be featured on an episode of Screw the Commute. All right, also, our podcast app is in the iTunes store, so you can, or the App Store, or you can go to screwthecommute.com/app, A-P-P, and we've got instructions on how to use it and download it, and it does all kinds of cool stuff. All right, today's sponsor is AmazingPublicSpeaking.com. This is a membership site with over 475 professional and public speaking training videos, plus audios and articles. And we also have a corresponding complimentary webinar called 30 Tips in 37.625 minutes. All right, it's a little bit longer than that, but gives you great professional speaking tips that you can use in the boardroom or in big arenas if you had to. So we'll have a link to that in the show notes. And remember, this is episode 116, so that's screwthecommute.com/116. All right, let's get to the main event. Andy Sokol is an entrepreneur, speaker, author, and client retention expert. He started his business in 1995, and he still has customers today from his first year in business. Check that out. Now, in 2003, he started a second business, and he sold it to a multinational company in 2015 because they wanted his customer relationships. Then he wrote a book on client retention, and he now speaks all over the country helping entrepreneurs grow their business by retaining their clients and getting more referrals. Andy, are you ready to screw the commute?
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm good. I forgot to tell him don't mess with Andy and his significant other because they went through my brutal self-defense course. So that's not how you keep customers, is it? Threaten to kill them if they leave?
No, that's not how we do it. In fact, I always tease Gina that if I'm going to ever go down a dark alley, she's coming with me.
Exactly. Oh, boy, she was vicious, I'll tell you. So tell everybody really how you do this. Now, I have had customers for 20, 25 years, but I'm not sure I had a method to my madness other than treating them right. But tell us, what that's all about, keeping customers that
Well,
long.
it's some development, some things we developed over the years, some just techniques, and I didn't really know that I was developing client retention techniques. I'm just, I was a salesman before and got into business, and I just have always been focused on how do you take care of that customer? How do you wow that customer so much that they never leave? And how there's a saying that they always say about, your customers will buy from you because they what? They know you, they like you, and they trust you. But there's always been something missing that everyone always forgets about. And I added, the customer has to also remember you. So they may know you, like you, and trust you, but if they don't remember you, they're not going to buy from you again. And so this is what we developed in our own business over the years. And now I've been speaking and training other entrepreneurs a lot of these techniques, and just how to give your customers the love, how to make them feel appreciated, how to build that relationship with them. So that way, sometimes you screw up as a company, and one of your employees screws up, but that's okay because they give you a second chance and they just continue to order.
So give us some ideas on what types of things you're talking about.
Well, first of all, you have to build a relationship. Your customer is not just a number. And you need to treat your customers in such a way that they think that they're your only customer. So you're just building relationships, you're getting to know them, you're getting involved and getting fascinated in what they do. If like for us, for example, we've always had our guys, our employees have always been instructed to understand that they're not a customer, we are an extension of our customer's office. So that way, we belong there, and the people that work at that customer's office just think of us as part of them. Why would they call anybody else? We're just part of the family.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. I kind of remember a joke I heard about a bank or something. It says, "At so and so bank, we don't treat you as a number. We treat you as a number, several letters, and an exclamation point." So that's not what you're talking about.
No, not at all. Not at all. Right. We spend a lot of time on that because here's the thing. Most business owners, they're only concentrating on chasing the next new customer. They take for granted the ones that they have that got them to where they are. And so for me, I've always been about building that relationship. And then if you build a good book of business, you actually get to work less. So working less isn't so bad.
Yeah, because you're not chasing, it takes a lot to get a new customer, right? I mean, that's kind of the old saying that to sell something to your same customer is
it's way easier.
Right?
Once you have your customer locked in pretty well, and they just want to continue doing business with you, then it's easier to sell them additional services and other things, and instead of trying to find somebody new, and it's way cheaper as well. So you can spend, depending on the industry you're in, you can spend anywhere between 3 and 14 times the money to get a new customer than it takes to just keep them happy.
Wow. All right, so let's take you back to how did you start out? Did you ever have jobs?
I did. So, going through college, I got a business degree, and going through college, I mostly had sales positions.
Where'd you go?
I went through University of Florida, and then I finished up at Florida International University in Miami, which at the time I didn't know was the top business school of the state. Wow. And so I was pretty happy about that. But I didn't know because I'm just doing my thing, trying to, get a business degree. But when I graduated, I got a position for a copying and scanning company. And, yes, they wanted me to sell and get new customers, but I still remember to this day, this was early 1990s, that my primary role was to go get back all the customers they lost.
They told you this, or you thought this up? Okay.
They said, we want to hire you, but this is your function right here. Here's a list of all the customers that we lost over the last few years.
Nothing like giving you an uphill battle,
right? Right. I could, but it was a challenge, and I accepted the challenge, and this got me to really understand how important client retention is, because the business was struggling. And so they handed me a list of customer names. This was primarily working with law firms, so they were law firm names. But they didn't tell me who the customer was at the law firm. They didn't tell me what the problem was, why they, lost them. They didn't give me any invoice information, any invoice numbers, or they didn't give me any information. They just said, "Here's a list, go get them. Here's a phone."
Did they know why they lost them?
I don't think so, because,
Yeah.
because
Right.
later on, getting to know everybody in the business, the business owner was pretty much an absentee business owner, so there was no leadership there. And so he probably didn't know, so my job was to go get him. So I did. And I went out there and I got most of those customers back. And what happened is now all of a sudden the business had too much business and they couldn't fulfill the orders.
Oh man.
And so that's a good problem, but a bad problem, because guess what that did?
They lost the customers again.
Well, we started having problems, yes. And so what I started to do to prevent that from happening, here I am, I'm busting my hump, getting new business, getting those customers back, and then we don't fulfill. And so what I was doing was I was staying late every night, and this was in downtown Miami, and staying late every night, working in the production center, helping out the guys, the gang, and get these orders fulfilled. And then getting up the next morning and coming to work and delivering the projects back to the law firms. What was the problem with, though, is that I wasn't getting compensated any different. I was getting a sales commission, but I wasn't getting compensated for taking the time away from my family every single night until 9, 10 o'clock at night. So that was a problem. So I decided to open up my own business in that industry, but I honored my non-compete and moved to the next county over and started that business. And because now I learned how to do everything. It wasn't just about sales, it was about the whole business. And
okay, well, I hold up for a second. I want to ask you, what did you do to get those clients back?
So
that's a whole program in itself, probably.
Probably I could make a program in itself, and definitely at least a bonus section, right?
Yeah.
Now that you tell me, what I did was I just went in there and I treated people like people, and I talked to them, and I asked them, what happened, what was the reason why you left, and then and whatever they said, no matter what it was they said was the reason why they got ticked off and quit using our services, I asked them, so we're under new management now. If you were the new manager, what would you have done with that if that problem happened? And whatever their answer was, I said, that's what we did.
Wow, that's pretty smart.
And so then I got them to try us again. But I personally made sure that, I babysat every project, made sure everything went through good. And,
yeah, because you're the face of the whole deal now, and if they're not delivering, it's all on you.
That's right. So it was a lot of pressure, but it was a good experience, and that's what I pretty much did. I had to come up with something to tell them
Well, repeat that for everybody. That's a really, really critical thing. Like I said, I can see a whole program on that. Getting back customers you lost. So you did exactly what again?
So what I would say to them is, when I would ask them what happened, I want them to talk, not me.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
That's the first start of building a relationship, is you let the other person do all the talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would ask them, what happened? Why did you leave? What was the cause that made you guys stop using our services? And whatever they said, no matter what it was, it didn't matter. Whatever they said, I said to them, well, if you were the new manager of this company, what would you have done different to change that? And whatever their answer was, I would say, that's what we did.
Wow. That is really, so people should be writing that down. I'll tell you, that's really great.
Well, the truth of the matter is that, if pretty much probably that's the right answer.
Yes, exactly. Because that's the customer. That's the horse's mouth, basically.
Yeah.
Telling you, what do you have to do to win me back? And they're telling you exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. So you can't go in there and just start spraying them with all the stuff that we did or we're going to do. And let them tell you what to do. That's beautiful. So, okay. So yeah, you're working day and night, burning the candle at both ends. Now, did you save up money, or how did you make the transition to the new business?
I did save up some money, but I also had good credit. And
Okay.
so what I did was I basically started the new business with two credit cards, MasterCard and the Visa card. And I used the MasterCard to pay the Visa card and the Visa card to pay the MasterCard. So I got.
No, we're not promoting that idea for you, all right? But some alternative financing can work, and it did in Andy's case.
I bought my computer on 1 year, same as cash financing.
That's a good idea.
And
sure.
And then we negotiated on our office space. We moved into this piece of junk little place that we told them you don't have to do anything to fix it. From the previous tenant had trashed it, so we went in there and fixed everything and painted from some paint that a neighbor gave us that was left over from their house, and all that kind of stuff.
That's scrounging, I tell you.
And then we told the guy, since we're going to fix your place up, why don't you give us 3 months free rent? And so he said okay. So that bought us some time until we can get some orders in and stuff. So we did everything we could to try to get in, as inexpensive as possible.
That is called bootstrapping, and I'm so glad. I think you're the first one that's really talked about that on this show, and that, hey, you can scratch and crawl and make deals and barter, and you can have a business. You can get going.
Absolutely.
And, beautiful. Yeah. I remember when I was in college, they were tearing the old wooden seats out of Mountaineer Stadium. This is at West by God, Virginia, WVU. And so I scarfed them all up, and I got a $12 circular saw from Kmart, and I ripped them down the middle and made 2x4s out of them and built an apartment out of them.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's great. All right. So how did it progress from then? And how did you get those first couple clients?
So one of the things that I did was we started giving away cookies. So,
okay.
so those.
And then that big hotel chain copied you, didn't they?
Well, those. Yeah, I was going to tell you. Those cookies that when you go into the hotels, you smell.
Yeah.
So we negotiated a deal with the company, and they gave us a free oven because they said, if you're going to bake these cookies, you have to use our oven. And I said, I can't afford an oven. So they said, okay, we'll give you one for free. So
okay.
So I said, okay, perfect. So they gave us this free oven to use. They didn't charge us for it. We bought the cookies, and that was part of our marketing, was to give fresh baked, warm cookies, drop them off to different people. We made phone calls to figure out who our prospects were at the different law firms and dropped them off. And then I would call them back and say, hey, I'd like to make an appointment with you. And pretty much they were like, okay, those were awesome cookies.
Yeah, as long as you bring cookies, you can have an
appointment. So that was part of what I did to get back the other customers as well, as we made some cookies. And I went ahead and I bought cookies then.
So you're using all the old tricks in the book. I mean, a way to a person's heart is through their stomach.
That's right, no matter what.
A way to their wallet, we could call it, is through their stomach. Wow, that is so cool. Or so warm, I guess. So, all right. And so you gave away cookies, you started getting appointments, and that was the takeoff then, right?
That was the takeoff, and we never looked back. And our first month in business was only $42.
Well, yeah, you had free rent.
Right? If we had free rent, so we were good. And then the second month in business, we had maybe close to $500 in business.
Wow, you were that's 10 times the business.
But all of a sudden, we took off. And before long, we were doing, quite well.
And what were you doing? You were copying stuff, or
yes.
You were shredding stuff?
So
right?
at the time, that business was, remember the old Kinko's copy center and stuff, and now it's FedEx Office. So it was kind of like that, except only for lawyers, for law firms, all confidential records.
Oh, okay. Did you have to have a security clearance?
Kind of, sort of. You have to have, everyone background check everybody, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So,
speaking of Kinko's and FedEx, I always say, Hey, they took two really great companies and made one crappy company.
I know it. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure why they did that, but that's what we did because nowadays we're doing scanning with that business. We still have that business since 1995, and we still have customers from that first year, which is pretty amazing. And
weren't you doing something with portable? What do you call it? Shredding and stuff.
Yeah. So in 2003, I fell into the shredding world. And,
well, you got to be careful about that,
right?
You don't want to get shredded yourself.
And so it's funny because whenever we would do shredding projects, sometimes people would say, "Hey, my ex-wife could fit in there, or my mother-in-law could fit."
Yeah, right. That's what I'm thinking.
And then people actually said that, and I didn't know what to say to respond to that. But anyway, so I did that, and in 2015, a multinational company was trying to steal our customers away, and they were working really hard at it, and they really couldn't do it. They were having a tough time stealing our customers away. So what they did was they approached us and said, "We want to buy you out." And so we sold to them. We sold in 2015 the shredding business, and that's when I realized, even though I knew how important client retention was and keeping the relationships with your clients going, I knew how important it was, but it didn't really sink in until they handed me a check. And so that was kind of awesome. And then it hit me that really what they wanted was those relationships. That's all they cared about. They didn't care about anything else. They didn't want me. They didn't want anything. They just wanted that.
Yeah, they didn't want the equipment,
they did buy the equipment, sure.
Yeah, they got it, but none of this would have happened if it wasn't for those relationships.
That's right.
Beautiful idea. So, so fast forward to now, you're going and speaking to companies, you're helping entrepreneurs, and how does somebody work with you?
So that's the way. The best way to work with me is, we're going to give you a link specially for your audience, Tom, where they can get a free download of my book.
Oh, great.
So it'll be in your notes.
What's it called?
It's called Pay Me Forever.
Yeah, that's a great title. Yeah.
Yeah, and so after I sold the business, I wrote that book, and because I wanted to get the word out how important it is. Because, like I said, most entrepreneurs forget about the clients they already have, and so I decided how can I help other entrepreneurs, spend more time with their family? How can I help them have a better life? So they're not working 100 hours a week because they're losing customers and may not even realize it. So I wrote the book for that reason, to give them some pointers, some tips, some ideas on really how to grow their business by keeping the clients they already have and getting more referrals. So that's what the book's all about. And then it's turned into a program where we have some different programs for, depending on if somebody just wants to learn how to do it themselves, we have a program for that. If they want some help, or if they want us to do it for them, we have different programs and stuff. We're doing consulting on that topic, and now I'm speaking all over the country, speaking at different entrepreneurship conferences and different associations, entrepreneurship type associations on how to do it, on how to get these tips. So that's what we're doing now. I'm pretty excited about that, and I'm super excited because I've known you for so many years to be able to help you now with your audience by offering this free digital download.
That's great. And it'll be in the show notes, folks, for this episode's 116. Now, anything crazy, funny, bizarre happen in your business travel?
So we did a project in the scanning business. We did a project. It's probably been 10 years now. And normally, when we do a project for scanning, we call it the Jones case or whatever it is. But this law firm out of Louisiana called me and said, we need to, we have some scanning for you. Can you do it? And we're going to ship everything to you. And I said, okay. And I was thinking it was going to be, a couple of, boxes or something like that. And what it was, it showed up in 2 18-wheeler trucks. And they let me know it was 18-wheeler trucks when it was on its way. They said, oh, by the way, I hope you have a loading dock. And of course we didn't. So I had to run out real quick and get warehouse space. And they said, by the way, we've already fumigated everything before it left our warehouse. So I said,
What does that
"What are
mean?
you talking about? Fumigated what?" And they said, "Well, in this part of the world in Louisiana, we have this thing called the brown recluse spider."
Oh,
And I
God.
really wasn't sure what the brown recluse spider, so
Right.
I Googled it. And if your audience ever wants to see some really gruesome stuff, Google brown recluse spider, and you're going to see
They're deadly, right?
well, when they bite you, the saliva actually rots your skin.
Oh,
It's pretty nasty. So anyway, so they told us when it's already on its way. So here I am. I have to inspect this stuff, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? So we got everything in the warehouse, and then I fumigated the warehouse again. And I told the employees, I gave them training on how to identify a brown recluse spider.
I'll bet they were
They
thrilled.
oh, they were like, "Come on, Andy, don't do this to us." And I said, "No, they'll be dead if you find any. They'll be dead." So I gave them training on that, and because I wanted to make sure there was no liability, no issues.
Yeah.
I had them all wear masks and stuff when they're doing the scanning, just as a precaution. And so we called it the Spider Project, even though the project had nothing to do with spiders. We called it the Spider Project because we were afraid that we were going to be the ones introducing the brown recluse spider to South Florida. So,
Oh man, I'm going to make my employees listen to this because the worst they ever gets a dog bite here and there. You can see that coming.
we never had a problem though, but it was good too. It was just funny to go through the motion. And to this day, about 10 years later, we still refer to it as the Spider Project.
Yeah, and then you only had one or two employees that their arms rotted off. So that's not bad. That's not too bad for as long as you've been in business. So what do you like best about working for yourself, and what's the worst part?
So I really enjoy the freedom, the time freedom. I don't have to ask anybody if I get off early today or if I can take off next week or take a day off here and there or whatever I want to do. So I really enjoy that. I mean, over the years, I have acquired a team of people at our company that, quite frankly, do a way better job than me, and so it allows me to have the time freedom is what I really like, and it allows me to work remotely if I want to. If I want to,
You work out of I know you have an RV, or you did have an RV. Do you work out of that sometimes?
we do. We're in between RVs right now because that one it caught on fire.
Yeah,
And,
I heard you had a
so
disaster.
we're in between RVs right now. Just got done dealing with the insurance company on the claim and everything and stuff. So, but we enjoy taking the RV, and all I need is an internet connection. I'm accessible. Where I can still work on strategy for the business. I can still work on website development and so on. I can still work on marketing materials. I can answer emails, do bids, whatever I need to do for the business. I can still do. I don't necessarily have to be there in the office. So that.
Well,
part.
I know people that do RVs and like camping and stuff, but you just are not supposed to build a fire in the living room of your of your RV. I don't know if the insurance people told you that.
It was funny because the RV, the flames started shooting out underneath the hood.
Oh yeah, that's hysterical.
That's fun, And we did.
Yeah, it's like you had a low rider RV, shooting flames out.
We weren't about to break out the marshmallows.
Well, we got to take a brief break for our sponsor message. Then when we come back, we're going to ask Andy what's a typical day look like for him and how he stays motivated. So, folks, AmazingPublicSpeaking.com has over 475 public and professional speaking techniques. Openings, closings, attention-getting devices, humor, and the business of speaking in case you want to get paid as a speaker. And it's only $97 for an entire year. So you can find that at amazingpublicspeaking.com or, of course, in the show notes here at screwthecommute.com/116. That's this episode. And we also have a complimentary webinar, 30 speaking tips in 30.675 minutes. That's a joke, folks. And all this is going to be in the show notes at screwthecommute.com/116. If you think about being a speaker, if you want to improve and have your coworkers amazed how you wowed at the board meeting, this is the place to go. All right, let's get back to Andy Sokol. Andy is a pretty long entrepreneur, long time. I don't know, let's see, what'd you say, 1985?
95.
95, okay. And but he learned a lot in the time that he was a worker bee, because he, like I said, I see a whole other program on how to grab past customers. He just brilliantly did that to the point where he lost them again. Yeah, so, when you think about it, the company kind of messed him over there a little bit, but it started off a new career for him. So what's a typical day look like for a guy like you, and how do you stay motivated?
So, the best part about being in business for yourself is every day is different. I've never been one to be able to go to work. Although I did it for a little bit, I tried it and I knew it wasn't for me.
Right.
But I've never been able to really be happy going to work, sitting at a desk or a cubicle, having to be there by 8:30, and if I'm 1 minute late, they're upset, and that kind of thing. I've never really been happy with that. I've always liked the flexibility of being in a sales position of some sort. And of course, being a business owner, you're a salesperson first.
Sure.
And then everything else falls in line after that. So for me, every day is different. Typically, I get up, I try to get to the gym here near where we live, and just work out a little bit, have some coffee. If I don't get to go to the gym, I want to go for a walk and just get myself going. And then depending on the day, I'm either going to go into the office and I have something specific to take care of, or I have some appointments lined up, or I get on and do a webinar with some clients, or or I'm just going to take the day off. We're going to have a vacation. So it all depends on the day. And as long as I keep moving forward, then everything is good. As long as I can continue to make things happen, different things that need to happen that only I can do in the business strategically and things like that. That's what I do. So every day is different, completely different.
Wow. And and a lot of people love that. I mean, some people like structure. I was talking to somebody the other day that gets up the same time and has the same breakfast every day, and that's the way they roll. But that's the beauty of this. You roll however you want to roll in this kind of thing. But we all know, of course, businesses go perfectly all the time. So how do you stay motivated when sometimes that doesn't happen?
Well, here's the thing. So when you're doing something that you would do for free, but by the way, I get to get paid for it too, then you're in the right business. You're doing the right thing. And entrepreneurship to me is fun. It's and I think most entrepreneurs would agree to that. Being an entrepreneur, it's not all about this is my job. This is your life. And entrepreneurship encompasses, basically every part of your life. And if it's fun and you enjoy what you're doing, then it's not work anymore. And so that keeps me motivated because I actually enjoy it. I mean, to the point of when I watch TV, I'm not watching stupid stuff on TV, mind-numbing stuff. I'm watching things like Shark Tank and The Profit and other business-related shows, Undercover Boss and the restaurant rehab shows and things like that, because I'm learning. I find that enjoyable as entertainment, but I'm also learning some business skills or sharpening some business skills at the same time. So that it's just about having fun as an entrepreneur is really that keeps me motivated.
I watch a lot of that type of TV also, but I watched 88 episodes, binge watch The Equalizer from the 80s. But nobody can say anything about it, right? I still got all my stuff done.
Sure.
So, hey, great talking to you and catching up with you, Andy. We're really thrilled, and some really great tips, especially there's two really big ones from this call that I want to pull out. Is the one about, bringing back old customers, what you did to do that. And then the other thing was starting a business with basically nothing. You made deals with the 3 months free rent and using some, excess paint from your neighbor and whatever it took, you got the job done. And it was the start of where you are today. So great tips for our folks. So thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun, and I appreciate being able to serve.
Yeah, and let me know when you're in the area. I know your son is up here just out of college, and hope to see you when you visit.
You bet. Talk soon.
Okay, folks. So next episode we have that's 117. We have Gina St. George. She noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs have been burning out, and she figured out that it's because they don't have systems and processes in place. So you don't want to miss that, because there's a lot of stuff to run a business, and the more systems and processes you can put in place, the more money you can bring in, and the more time you have to do other stuff you like. So make sure you catch her episode 117, and please review and rate our show over at iTunes if you can, and there's other places you can do it too, but that's a really good place for us. And make sure you download that Screw the Commute podcast app right to your phone or your tablet, and you can take us with you on the road, and it does all kinds of cool stuff. Like if you are on a phone call or you're listening to the podcast in your car and you get on a phone call, well, it'll pause the thing automatically, and when you're done with the phone call, it'll start playing right up again. So just all kinds of stuff like that, and keeps your favorite episodes. So make sure you download that at screwthecommute.com/app, and we will see you on the next episode. Catch you later.